can't fool children. You cannot fool them. You have to love children. And if you don't love children, it's not the business for you. But if you do love children, it doesn't feel like work.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Preschool All Stars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and I'm joined today by Natalie Encarnacion. Get that right? And
you got it. It's perfect.
So happy to have you today. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah, we're excited to hear your story. Let's get a little background on you and where you were before you decided to start this preschool journey you're on.
Well, I started out, in the mental health field in psychology. So I started out working with children. I was a nanny to get myself through college. Then I was counseling children for a number of years. And then I kind of shifted and I started working for the government, in the criminal field, working in that capacity. And then now I'm still with the government for my day job, working with security and investigations.
Oh, wow. That sounds exciting.
Yeah, but I'm ready to get out of it. I'm ready to return to my passion, which is children. So I kind of veered away from working with children. And, I've always had an interest in child safety. So I went from working with children who were victims and went through trauma to working with offenders because I was very interested in how to stop traumatizing children. So I kind of switched. And that's how I ended up working with criminals in that capacity. And then that just kind of kept going into security and investigations. But I really want to work with children. So I am trying to come back. It's been 10 years. I've kind of veered away from the child and children and all those things. It's time to come back to where my passion is. So that's why I'm here. And that's how Joy has helped me to find my passion. And I'm transitioning back into it.
Wow, that's crazy. I love it. That's awesome. I also love your background. It's like so bright and I just want to come in your classroom and start playing.
Come on over.
Okay. So how did you find Joy?
A Facebook ad. I've tried, I'm an entrepreneur by nature. So I always have like a side hustle or something going on. So my first hustle was making children's clothes because I love sewing. So I was sewing for my own children. I have 3 little girls. Okay. So I started a children's boutique and I was sewing for that, but I was getting so burnt out. It was a lot of work while still having my day job. And it was just a really hard business to scale if you can't find other seamstresses to kind of come in. And it was a lot of work. So I'm like, okay,
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So it was a fine hustle, but I was like, this is not going to be the one to replace my full-time income.
Right.
So I did try some other things and I was like, I need something a little bit more sustainable, and so I thought about it. And then I don't know, how Facebook hears everything you say.
Yeah.
Somehow Facebook, they got me.
Yeah.
And then I saw Joy's ad about a great way to stay home because my dream is to be home with my children, but it's important for me to have an income separate from my husband. It's always just been super, super important to me. So I was like, those were the words I was looking for. So it was for a 30-day challenge to set up your local preschool was what it was for about a year ago. And I clicked it and I signed up for it. And that's how it started. It changed my life.
Wow. That's so great. So you opened your local preschool and online or just online?
Well, I started with just local. I was a little scared. Online wasn't a thing then. So I found Joy probably last January or February. So it was right before everything shut down. And I knew I wanted local just because I love working with children in person.
Right.
I knew ultimately I wanted an online business, but I wanted to start local because I tend to be extremely shy, which I've gotten over.
Yeah.
I was always super scared of being on camera. So I was like, I can't jump over those hurdles right now. I'm better in person. I was like, I'll deal with that stuff later.
Yeah.
So I pushed off local until this passing November. Pushed off online until this passing November.
Okay.
And started doing local, but I was doing school age children, which I'm still doing now. So I'm still doing local and online, but my local is with lower elementary school students that come in.
Okay. Okay. So what's your schedule like that? Especially you're still working your other day job?
Yes. Yeah.
Woo, you're busy.
I am very busy, but if you are organized and you can get your schedule down pat,
Yeah.
you can do it all. So I'm still working full time.
Okay.
I'm very lucky that I've worked with my government job so long and I've put in so much time that they're flexible with me.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so I can take off time. I can work evenings. I can work early morning. I can work weekends. So their flexibility allows me to do it. So I'm very grateful for my current bosses who are just so supportive because I told them about this journey.
Mm-hmm.
They know great. I'm doing it. It's not a secret. They know. My first step was asking them if they would, approve a part-time job for me, and they weren't able to do it. So they're like, but we can give you whatever flexibility you want because we understand. So that was all I did.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
Yeah, is very, very happy. So for my online preschool, I do that during my lunch break when I'm working my government job.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I record on Sundays. I record the videos for the week.
Yeah.
And each class is 30 minutes. And I'm only teaching one online class right now. So I teach on my 30-minute lunch break on those days. So it works out perfect. And
are you at home still? Are you working from home doing? Okay.
Yep. Working from home, which is great. My husband's working from home. I do have my 3 kids are home too. So that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
You don't want too much screaming in the background, but they do really well. Over time, they learn to adjust to the new family dynamic for that 30 minutes. And they know mommy's teaching. So sometimes I try to bring them in, but they're a little shy. So
yeah. How old are your girls?
I have a 1-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an 8-year-old. Okay. So I have a kindergartner and a 3rd grader, and then I have the baby. So the baby's the one that likes to scream, but wait for nap time.
Okay.
And if she gets up, I'm thankful to have my husband home. He'll kind of dash up. But for the live classes, like the kids don't mind the noise. Like it's less informal than when you're recording your videos.
Right.
So when I'm recording my videos, I lock myself down here in the basement because I don't want the screaming. But during the live classes, it's very flexible and forgiving. I'll bring the kids in. Sometimes I'll have local students here for that 30 minutes and I'll bring them in to the preschool class if they're interested in helping write some of the letters. Because it's really 30 minutes is like a blink of an eye. It goes fast. Mm-hmm. So fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's how I'm able to fit them all in. But hopefully soon I'll get rid of the full-time job and then take the plunge here. Okay.
So what about your local kids? How do you fit that in?
Yeah, sometimes they're here. They're part-time. So I'll have some kids are just coming 2 days a week, others that are coming 3 days a week, but they come later in the week. But like I said, when they're here, they're doing school on the computer with their teacher. Okay. So I'm here to guide them, help them sign in. I help them with assignments and I'll tutor them throughout the day. So during this 30-minute block, some of the kids are on a break and they're just reading quietly or, whatever activity they have that their teacher gave them. Mm-hmm. And then the other kids are in class with their teachers and we're all on the same floor. I just move over to our playroom area and then the children are in the schoolroom. Okay. But they know, hey, Miss Natalie has a 30-minute class. If they need something, then I turn around and talk to them. It's very forgiving for the live classes because we're working on conversation skills and it's interactive. We're dancing, so it's not like super, super quiet classroom, do your online assignment. So it's very forgiving.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how much do you charge for the local kids to come?
Local kids, for the school agers that are doing school on the computer, I'm doing $40 a day.
Okay.
So it's a little bit lower than the other places in this area. But I figured I'm not teaching them. I'm just really supervising and then doing a little tutoring. So I was happy with the $40 a day. Mm-hmm. And then for online, I have my founding families at $47 a month. And that's for 2 classes. So 2 hours a week of instruction. They have 30 minutes of, the recorded class and then 30 minutes preschool pals twice a week. Okay. But for new enrollments, I'm charging $97 for that.
Okay. Awesome. And how many kids do you have in your online class?
Online, I have 7.
Awesome. Great. So what's your next step then as you transition? Are you looking to transition into a local preschool or are you kind of going to stay with the older kids and do a tutoring thing?
I prefer the preschoolers. That's where my passion lies. The preschoolers here in the Washington, D.C. Metro area, they all have like stay-at-home parents, and they're more comfortable with their children remaining home. So I'm hoping coming in the fall, when we'll see where COVID is at and see if those parents are more comfortable with their children coming out. So I've had people doing virtual tours and things of that nature. So we'll see what the fall looks like. It's just with COVID, things are so, up in the air. So it's like I'm making plans A, B, and C, but the goal would be to have the traditional model that Joy set for local, which would be the 2 classes, each day of preschoolers 3 to 5. That's where the passion lies. But if COVID is still a thing and the kids are still learning from home, I may do the distance learners again, or I may expand online. It just depends. My online parents are, all of them are working from home. So the demographic is different. I'm appealing to a different group of people here, stay-at-home moms or parents for local, and then I'm dealing with work-at-home parents for my online.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even the work at home, if they can get a ride there, then they're still like, I have a lot of parents from my local kids who they do work at home, but they live close. So they just, do the pickup and drop off. So it kind of can work depending on the location. And everything. Yeah.
Here being right outside Washington, D.C., most of the people here either work for the federal government or work as like a contractor for the federal government indirectly. And right now the federal government is working from home for the most part. So as long as that stays in place, they'll be home for a while. So we don't know when people will be called back in or what that'll look like. But I do know most of my online families are local, except for 2 families, and they're interested in summer camp. So that's what I'm planning right now is summer camp, which is great. I have a very small, I'm zoned for like 5 kids in addition to my 3.
Okay.
But I find that that's a little bit much for me and my sanity. So when I do summer camp, I'll probably do 3 full-time kids in addition to mine, because 6 is fine.
Yeah.
I'll consider myself full with 3 kids who are coming full-time.
Right. And you think you're going to go with pre-K kids for that, or older, since if
it's my online students, most of them will be transitioning into kindergarten next year. So they're going to be 4s and 5s.
Okay. Well, that's exciting.
It is.
Summer program. I just started registration for my summer program too. I'm trying to get it all worked out as early as possible.
Yeah, I try to, but you always have those little whispers in your head, kind of telling you can't do it. So I tend to do everything a little bit later because that's just a form of my procrastination.
Yeah. Well, I'm having a baby in a month and a half. So I'm like, I have to get it all. That's in my head right now. I'm like, I wanted to have like a full registration. So then when baby comes, I can not worry about marketing for summer and take a few weeks off and then worry about marketing for fall. I feel like it's constant because I'm losing so many of my kids to kinder this year. I feel like I have to, get a whole new program. So now that's what also made me realize I'm like, I got to get them when they're 3. Because then they're with you 2 years.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, I haven't started thinking about fall yet. I know I probably should, but I feel like with COVID, it's like I never know what I want to.
I know. It's so hard because you never know if you're going to have to change your schedule or who's going to want what. Or I know it's really hard. You're constantly just pivoting and trying to adapt to what's going on in like that very minute because it changes every day.
Yeah. And then just remaining flexible. And most of my new students are referral based from my current students. So that helps a lot.
That's great. Yeah. That's really great. That word of mouth is what will really help.
I've gotten way more by word of mouth than I have ever gotten with any ads, even flyers.
Yeah. I'm finally starting to get that word of mouth and it's so nice because just not having to worry about. Exactly. And I offer like a referral program. So I'm hoping that, they'll jump on that. And it's so nice to get an email from being like, oh, we're friends with one of your students. And and I'm like, yes.
And it kind of screens the parents too, because you want to make sure you're working with compatible parents and things like that. So I feel like, okay, well, they'll know what's compatible with our classroom and that works out. But yeah, I'm prepared to do more online classes if, the local doesn't work out. But I think summer camp, I think it'll be pretty easy to get the 3 kids for full time. But ideally, it would be the preschoolers and I'd have enough to hire a teacher to come in so I can have a little bit more flexibility for myself.
Right. Definitely market the small class sizes. That's huge right now.
Yes.
If you're only having a couple kids, like push that, because that's what parents want. So like more than just, staying at home, they're willing to send their kids away if it's just like a small pod of the same kids all the time,
Yeah.
So that's definitely helped with the small class sizes, because everywhere else, they either get a big center where there's still tons of kids in the class, or
lots of coming and going. Yeah, here it's the same kids each week.
Yeah.
And I've turned away lots of people. So I consider myself full for local right now with, I have 4 distance learners that come in addition to my 3 kids. So I'm considering. So
you do that during the day, and then in the evening you work your government job, or on the weekends, or whenever you can get it in?
Most of my kids are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that come in. So Monday and Tuesday I'm working as many hours as I can, and then stopping for lunch to teach, online preschool. But so I'll be doing some work with my government job tonight to get the work in there. But I mean, technically I could release it at this point. I have my local, I have my online. I have, with both of them together, with local and online, I'm at about $1,600 a month.
Okay.
So my goal is to be at 2,000 before I release, consistent 2,000 a month before I release it. Yeah. But I would be fine. I could release it. Part of it's fear. Yeah. And then part of it's, I really want to meet that steady 2,000. There is always a fear that everything's going to go back to normal in the fall and I lose my distance learners. And then if you don't get preschoolers in, that steady 1,600 is gone now. So it's definitely a scary leap to make. Definitely. Yeah. My husband is not entrepreneurial at all. He works for the federal government as well.
Okay.
So he's through that consistent, very routine. Yeah. So we have to compromise on what makes him feel comfortable as well.
Absolutely.
So he always feels the most comfortable when I kind of have that job here.
Oh, I totally understand. Yeah. But, it's hard to, when you're used to just the steady income and you're not worrying about bringing in the income, you're just worried about going to work. And then to switch your whole mindset of like, if I don't bring in these people, then I don't make any money. That's like a really hard mindset to switch over and to like trust that, okay, I can make this happen. I just, and you can make it happen, but it's hard to switch that mindset. Definitely. That was a huge leap for me when I quit the school district. I was like, oh my gosh, if like now it's all on me, and I still feel it. Like that's why I'm hustling right now for summer. I still feel the push. Pressure. Yeah.
And that's why I try to tell other people who ask me about it. I'm like, I don't know if fear will ever go away. It'll just be managed a little bit better, because it is. Right. It's fun being your own boss, but it has its challenges, right?
Yeah, it's all on you. It's all on you.
It has its challenges. So, I've gotten rid of my dream of, everything's easy, I'm not going to be scared. Right. I think that was just the stories you tell yourself. So I'm like, you're going to be uncomfortable at some point. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm probably always going to be scared when I open a new program. That's okay. Yeah. I know I'm a perfectionist, and that's a sign of my procrastination. I'm always like, my enrollment process has to be perfect before I can even start marketing, right? And then you just never do it because it's never perfect, right? I have so many things from prior businesses I never released because I'm like, it's not perfect. I should just not even do it at all. And now, which I've told Joy, is like, I take imperfect action. Like, I marketed for my online preschool before I even had any of it set up. I didn't have I didn't have anything. I just did the founding family script, which I didn't think anybody was going to respond to. I was like, if they respond, then I'll go to Joy's videos and set it up.
Right.
If they don't respond, then I didn't waste, a month of telling myself those crazy lies that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
So now I take action first, and then I backtrack. But that just works for me because I have to.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
A little bit. Absolutely. I know myself really well, and I have to keep psyching myself out and trying to break the crazy connections I've somehow created over all these years.
I feel that so hard. My husband is constantly trying to break me of that. He's like, look what you've done already. It's going to work. Like, you will make it work. And every time I'm like, oh my gosh, this happened. And he's like, it's fine. You will make it work. So he's constantly trying to be like, you can do it. You've done it already, and you'll continue to do it, and you'll make it work however you need to.
Yeah. And I started, like, as soon as those thoughts start creeping in, It's like, I just literally, my husband will think I'm crazy. I sit there, I'm like, stop. I'm just trying to, like, just stop, reset. Don't,
Yep.
I'm just trying to get out of that. I'm like, I'm too old to be dealing with these old little demons that have creeped up over the years. I am just determined to do everything Joy tells me to do. And then just keep telling those little voices, just stop. And then getting over the notion that things don't feel uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. You're going to feel uncomfortable. Not all uncomfortable is bad.
Agreed. That's so huge. That's so huge. Yeah. That's like a huge, I mean, before I did this, I moved across the country and like quit my job. And, this was like before I became a teacher. I moved across the country to become a teacher, but I was like in this weird phase where I didn't have an offer from a school yet. And I had a certain amount of money and I was just like banking on, just like changing my entire life. And I'm like, it was so uncomfortable. Like every night I was, what's going to happen? Yeah. Can I do this? And then I look back at like some of people who are still in my old town and I'm like, you can get out. It's just going to be uncomfortable. And it is uncomfortable until it's comfortable. And then you don't want to be comfortable. Like being comfortable isn't the right place to be because then you're not moving forward. And that's like such a huge thing. Yeah. You're not growing.
That's right. That's what comfort feels like. So when you're comfortable, it's probably time to get uncomfortable and it's time to level up a little bit.
Exactly. Which is uncomfortable.
I'm so uncomfortable, but you get over it and then you have you uncomfortable. I told you before I didn't do online. I was deathly afraid of being on camera and I'm talking to you right now and I'm recording videos, like panic attacks. Like I would literally have panic attacks, like hyperventilating. Like that was
me. You have a very great camera presence right now. I'm loving it.
Like it took a lot of work. So, I always tell, my parents with some of my students, some of them are really good friends of mine for my online classes. And I still get nervous before each preschool pals. Yeah. The nerves go down a little bit, but I still get a little nervous until I turn the camera on. Then I'm like, okay, Miss Natalie's here and I've got this.
Yeah. But it sounded like acting. I always loved acting. And that's what I feel like, because as soon as you turn the camera on, you're, I'm Miss Bethany and that's who I am. I don't even think about it for the half an hour. And then,
and the kids are so excited to see you. And I learned also a way to get over it for me. I get nervous with anticipation. I'm an anxious person by nature.
Too. Yeah.
I don't sign on early like I used to. It's like, that preparation. Let me sign on 30 minutes early. Let me make sure everything's set. Now I sign on like 5 to 7 minutes early.
Right.
So I don't give myself time to get nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to learn the tricks that work for you. Definitely.
Whatever works for you, you got to get, just commit to it and get it done. So camera shy, let me tell you, it was me. And if I can get over it, anybody can. Just do it. You get used to seeing yourself on camera.
Yep. Absolutely. Just do it. That's so much of what I hear women say is just do it. Just go and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of other women, how would you say that the Preschool All Stars has helped you along this journey?
It's great. It's a great group of women who have experienced things different from you. So like when I'm ready to level up and do something new, obviously I'm like crazy anxious because leveling up is always very, very anxious time. I know I can post. I don't post a ton in there. I tend to respond to a lot of, posts that are in there. But when I do post, everybody comes to it and helps me. So it's like, hey, I want to do online, but I'm scared of this. Sometimes you can just post this day. You don't have to have this like thought out, question when you post in there. You can just have a discussion. Hey, has anybody else been here? Or this is what I'm feeling lately. Somebody else has felt that. Somebody else might have already moved forward from that. Somebody else might be in that spot where you are right now. But it's essential. Like if you're scared to start this process, which most of us are, that's an essential group for you because you might not have somebody in like your real everyday life who can boost you over that. My husband does the best he can, but he is not an entrepreneur.
Right.
He is, he thinks federal government and what that comes with. Yeah. So if I'm having an entrepreneurial type breakdown, he just might not have the skill set to help me get over it other than I know you can do it. I know you can do it.
Right.
It definitely helps. But when you're dealing with a community of women who have been there and share your feelings, they get it. They understand they've been there and they can help push you over the hump. And sometimes right now you have to be so creative. Things are not exactly how we thought they would be. So everybody is having to get creative, and everybody's coming up with a different creative path. And that path might work for you too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say your next big step is in your preschool journey?
My next big step is getting the summer camp organized, and really continuing to transition out of my full-time job. I think most of it's just fear, but the goal right now is probably going to be early summer, like before I go into summer camp. Because if I have kids every day for summer camp, I can't work 8 hours in the evenings. I'm not willing to. I need sleep.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm tired, so I need to sleep at some point. So I will eventually have to get over the fear of letting that go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my biggest hurdle is going to be as I transition into the next season, is to trust that I can be a full-time entrepreneur in this business and sustain the income I want to sustain. And
you can
let it go.
You're a lady boss. You can.
Exactly. Letting go is always hard. I like to hold on to stuff, but I'm learning to let go.
Yep, absolutely. And what advice would you give to other women, lady bosses, trying to start or wondering if they should even start something like this, or, taking the leap to quit their job and do something like this? What advice would you give them?
The first thing is just to think real hard and decide, is this something that you want to do? Do you want to do preschool? Do you want to work with children full-time, part-time? Like, is this how you want to build your wealth? You really have to think of, because if you don't love doing it, kids will know. You can't fool children. You cannot fool them. You have to love children. And if you don't love children, it's not the business for you. But if you do love children, it doesn't feel like work. I always said that when I was a nanny. I was like, I can't believe people are paying me this to pretty much play with them. To me, it just feels
I know. I love being a nanny.
I know. I was like, I can't believe people are paying me this to play with their kids. Because that's what it feels like when you love kids. So if you don't have that feeling, you need to think really hard about it. I always feel like you should do something you're passionate about. Anybody can make money. If you want to know how to make money, I can show you many ways to make money. But you want to make money in a way that's aligned and passionate and feels good for you, because it doesn't feel like working. So if you have a passion for children, this is the business for you. So once you make that decision that this is where you want to move, just do what Joy says. Get out of your head. Your head's going to tell you all kinds of lies, because your ego's job is to keep you safe, right? And trying new things isn't always safe. It doesn't feel safe. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just doesn't feel good. So you have to commit. Just commit to yourself and say, I'm going to do everything that Joy says to do, and just do it. No matter how it feels, just do it. And that's when I had my breakthrough. I was like, I feel uncomfortable. I don't know if I can do this. And finally, I was like, I'm committed to Joy. Everything she said so far has worked. And it was surrounding like the founding families for online. I really had a lot of doubt surrounding it because of my fears. But I'm committed to Joy, and she says it can work. The ladies in the group said it can work. So I said, I'm doing exactly what she says. And we're just going to see what happens. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to do it with my panic attacks, but I'm going to do it.
Yes.
So just do it. She did all the hard work. Just do what she says. Stop second guessing it and just follow the plan she already put in place.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Natalie, I want to thank you so much for joining us today and getting over your fears of being on camera and talking to us. Because it was great. It was great hearing your story and just where you've come. And I wish you so much luck.
Thank you. And good luck to you too with your baby.
Thank you so much.
So exciting.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You do. Have a good one. Bye.
If you'd like to have a success story just like that one, I invite you to join our Preschool All Stars. It's my exclusive membership community where you'll get mentorship from me with weekly Q&A lives, support and guidance, and friendship from hundreds of women on the exact same journey as you, starting, running, and growing their preschools. and my exclusive access to Preschool University, every training and done-for-you file that you'll need for every milestone on your journey to help you start, run, and grow your preschool. We've all been there, and we've got the exact same steps that you need to go through, but we do it all very quickly so that you don't have to waste time or money doing the wrong things at the wrong time. We'd love for you to join our Preschool All Stars membership. Just go to preschoolallstars.com or click the link in the description to immediately jump into Preschool All Stars. Again, go to preschoolallstars.com and we'll see you there.